Yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome to the stream. We just gonna do like a little 2 hour stream, and I'll just be wondering one v one of y'all from the chat, you know, in my personal gym, just chill vibes. And then I'll be back with y'all in the stream tomorrow. But for now, hey, whoever wanna one v one me, I'll pin the gym name. Just give me a second. I'll pin the gym name. Just give me a second. Let's do this first. Okay. Open. Okay. And then, yo, my keyboard. Holy hell, bro. Holy hell, man. Holy hell. Okay, so. Yo, hello to my one viewer. Hello to my one viewer. How you doing? How you doing? If you want to one v one me, join my gym. Whoever you are, because you're not typing in the chat. Whoever you are, hey, you can join my gym, man. If you want to. Just doing some 1v1 for fun, late night stream. Could be like a 2 hour stream that I'm going to bed.
I have had this sitting on my desk for at least 2 years now, and I don't know what's inside it, so let's open it. It could be one of 7 Minecraft minifigures or the special real gold creeper. However, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. The plastic stick pickaxe wasn't quite doing the job. Luckily, there were instructions. It takes dedication and strength to open the egg, soak the egg in water for easier digging. I've got a better idea.
What the signal?
Didn't really work. Into the water, I guess. And after hammering and pickaxing, felt like the river, who finally did it. Oh, I see it. Come on, little guy. Come here. Is it worth it? I have had this.
Be humble. Be humble. Be humble. The screen. One only. So sad. All the stars are going shit. All the stars are bullshit.
Crazy
Buddy, got some food for y'all. Y'all gonna have to share it though. Only got a beat. Oh, you fake as hell. Damn, you slapped in his face. Nah, you violated. Yo, you slapped in his face. You want to slap? Come here, buddy. Got some food for y'all. Matter of fact, let's let him off too easy. Go put the pause on. Put the pause on. Yeah. Yo, it's like, hey, yo, what y'all got going on over here? That's your dad, bro. Oh, hell no. Why you not saying nothing? Go ahead, go to your mom, bro. Get your sassy ass up. Hey, yo, what y'all got going on over here? That's your dad, bro. Oh, hell no. Why you not saying nothing? Go ahead, go to your mom, bro. Get your sassy ass up. Hey, yo, what y'all got going on over here? That's your dad, bro. Oh, hell no. Why you not saying nothing? Go ahead, go to your mom, bro. Get your sassy ass up. Yo, Slide Gang. You thought we wasn't gonna catch you. After all that shit you was barking on Facebook. Yo, Coco, run his pockets, man. Whatever he got, we get it. Gangsta. Matter of fact, let's let him off too easy, Coco. Put the pause on. Put the pause on. Yeah. Yo, Slide Gang. You thought we wasn't gonna catch you. After all that shit you was barking on Facebook. Yo, Coco, run his pockets, man. Whatever he got, we get it.
Pause on.
Matter of fact, let's let him off too easy, Coco. Put the pause on. Put the pause on. Yeah. Yo, Slide Gang. You thought we wasn't gonna catch you. After all that shit you was barking on Facebook. Yo, Coco, run his pockets, man. Whatever he got, we get it. Gangsta. Matter of fact, let's let him off too easy, Coco. Put the pause on. Put the pause on. Yeah. Yo, Slide Gang.
Yo.
You thought we wasn't gonna catch you. Nah, ain't no way. I thought Puff was like a riot. Watch it. Nah, ain't no way.
That bitch is right for the two.
Nah, ain't no way. But I thought those looked like a riot. Watch it.
Oh shit. Mm. Blood is.
You don't touch me, no one gets hurt. Please, just back up. Don't try to be a superhero lady, I'm crazy. Look, have your cup. Man, this damn Lucido shot by Coco, bro. Watch out. Oh, okay, then I'm bugging. I didn't know he was thugging. Man, this damn Lucido shot by Coco, bro. Watch out.
Oh shit.
Man, this damn Lucido shot by Coco, bro. Watch out. Oh, okay, then I'm bugging. I didn't know he was thugging. Man, this damn Lucido shot by Coco, bro. Watch out. Oh, bro, what the hell is he doing? Nah, bro, I'm that cool, handle control.
Yo, oh my god. Oh my god, that shit's hilarious.
Nah, that shit ain't right. Bro, what the hell is he doing? Nah, bro, I'm that cool, handle control. Nah, that shit ain't right. He's violating the rules. Bro, what the hell is he doing? Nah, bro, I'm that cool, handle control. Nah, that shit ain't right. He's violating the rules. Bro, what the hell is he doing?
Hang time. Yo, it's Makai James Radio. It's time for another show. Baby Fro. Hang time, yo. Valtteri, yeah. You got that Valtteri, that Valtteri.
Déjame estar persiguiendo.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there were 5 major anime series that got kids into anime that weren't Dragon Ball. These series were Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, Beyblade, and Aqua. All 5 of these series would go on to be huge franchises and sell hella merchandise, with the range going from kids' toys and plushies to whatever the hell this is. Now, if you were born from like the mid-90s to like mid to late 2000s, I'd say, at least one of these series had you in a chokehold at some point during your childhood. For me personally, it was Pokemon, Digimon, and Beyblade. I never really got too much into Bakugan. Yu-Gi-Oh was too complicated for my 7-year-old brain, so I didn't really get into it until I was much older. So Pokemon, Digimon, and Beyblade were the 3 that I stuck with. Pokemon has some of my favorite games of all time. Digimon, in my opinion, has a really underrated anime, at least for the first few seasons. As you guys read by the title, what I'm talking about today is Beyblade. Now, Beyblade has multiple different series, and today I'll be talking about the best one, okay? I ain't talking about that old shit, and I ain't talking about that new shit. I'm talking about the best Beyblade series ever. Beyblade. I meant Beyblade never come. Hell yeah. So, Beyblade Metal Sucker, probably the most iconic Beyblade series. I mean, everybody knows the intro. Beyblade. That shit used to get me and so many other kids hyped back in the day. But that intro is a small thing of how viral this show is. But to give a background for the show, for those who don't really know, and just because why not, Beyblade Metal Sucker is the second generation of the Beyblade franchise. It will start off as a manga in 2008, not even a full year later we'll receive an anime adaptation, which will be the main source for the series' success, along with the merchandise. The Metal Saga has 3 different parts. There's Metal Fusion, then Metal Masters, and then lastly Metal Fury. There is also a 4th part, and that's Shogun Steel. But in all honesty, nobody really cared about it. Like, who actually likes Shogun Steel? All jokes aside though, Shogun Steel really just felt like they were trying to exactly show off for no reason. Well, there's a reason. That's obviously money. And it's very reflective in the show's quality. But it really just felt unnecessary considering the fact that Metal Fury hit things off pretty well. But I'm not really going to talk too much about Shogun Steel in this video. I'm mainly just focusing on the main 3. Now with that being said, what exactly makes these 3 series so great? Well, to put it simply, Beyblade shows us the amount of enjoyment we get from spinning top smash games. But not only that, it gives us valuable lessons, like the true importance of teamwork and hard work, as well as the ability to persevere through tough situations. All of this making Beyblade one of the most fun and impactful series of our time. Here's what I would say if it was really that deep. See, the Metal Saga is pretty much like the first generation, but on crack, which is wild considering the first generation has some crazy moments itself, especially when it comes to the Beyblades and their ability. But anyways, pretty much everyone in this universe has a Beyblade. Like in this show, Beyblade is more than just a sport. This shit really gets serious. Instead of guns, I'm pretty sure the cops in this universe just use Beyblade. Hell, even Moses can still That's the reason why I love it so much. Anyway, so the main characters of the show are Jinka, Kensho, Benkei, and Madoka. Now this obviously changes as the show goes on and more characters are introduced. Jinka's main Beyblade is the iconic Pegasus, Kenta's main Beyblade is Sagittaria, Benkei has Tauros, and Madoka is the only one in the group that doesn't have a Beyblade, except for that one random ass time, but she's really just a mechanic of the group. Now my thoughts on these 4 characters are that they're fine. Madoka and Benkei are fine. Kenta's alright for like most of the series until Metal Fury, where he gets a lot of development. And Jinka, as the main protagonist of the whole series, is kind of mixed for me. On one hand, he has a lot of cool and badass moments. Like, even in his introduction, he was standing on business. But on the other hand, He makes a lot of questionable decisions sometimes, and I know it's a kid show and all, but oh my god, is that flaw armor thick! One scene that fully demonstrates this is his fight with Damien. So this is near the end of Metal Masters, right? And Jinka's team is going against these guys named Team Starbreaker. And one of the guys on that team is named Damien. Now this guy was on demon time in this entire part of the series. Bro was soloing teams of some of the strongest bladers in the show, which sounds absolutely crazy, but it all makes sense once you find out what his Beyblade is. The Beyblade he possesses is Hell Kerbix, which is actually one of the few Beyblades I had in real life. Now, this Beyblade is pretty broken. It's a stamina type Beyblade, meaning that it's able to stem for a really long time. But it's also able to turn into an attack type Beyblade. So not only is it going to stay in the ring for a while, but it can also deal some pretty serious damage. But this ain't even the craziest thing about it. Its final attack, hear me out on this, is to literally summon the gates of hell. And it changes up your Beyblade spirits, finishing them off and giving them a big game over. So, yeah, pretty damn broken. But yet, somehow, Jinka was able to beat this guy. These two were literally fighting in hell. And it seemed like Damien could have had a chance. But Jinka started going on this whole, oh, I'm doing this for my friends shit. And like 9 times out of 10, whenever a protagonist does this, some bullshit's about to happen. So Jinka pretty much breaks out of the chains and they end up back in the real world where Jinka defeats him. Now again, I know this is a kid show, but even when I was a kid, I thought this was kind of funny. Even with all that, that was still my favorite. Anyways, though, with that aside, there are a few other characters that I think are worth mentioning. And the first one is Kiyoya. Kiyoya pretty much started off as Jinka's rival at the beginning, but he would eventually join Jinka's team and become one of the main cast members. His Beyblade is Leon, and it's probably my favorite defense type Beyblade. He has a pretty cool design, and honestly, he's just one of my favorite characters. The boss is also another character I think is worth mentioning. He has some really cool moments and great fights. I also really do like his Beyblade with Eagle. Another character that's really worth mentioning is Masamune. He was introduced in Metal Masters, and I ain't gonna lie, at first I thought he was pretty annoying. But as the series went on, I started enjoying him more and more. His Beyblade is Unicorno, and is also another one of my favorite Beyblades. And Masamune overall is just another one of my favorite characters. But not my favorite. Because that goes to the next character I'm about to talk about. And that character is the iconic, the one and only Dragon Emperor himself, Ryuga. Man,
It's everything you wish for. Your sight traffic is stacked until this happens. Be careful what you wish for. Build your sight.
Man, I don't think y'all understand. I waited this whole video just to talk about this man. If there were a list of reasons to go back and watch the show again, Ryuga would be number one. Because there were just so many times where this dude was carrying the show on his back. This may sound like I'm blazing, but if you've seen the show, you completely understand what I mean. Now, he may seem like a generic anime antagonist. Maybe he is, but this dude was truly an enjoyable character throughout the whole show. Just straight up Black Air Force energy. I mean, this dude was literally training in a volcano. You know how raw you gotta be to do some stuff like that? He also had one of the most overpowered Beyblades, being El Drago. During Metal Masters, Ryuga didn't even need to use a launch cord or nothing for the Beyblade. All he had to do was just throw it and it would spin on its own. And he was able to take out multiple bladers with just this. Like, bro is the true definition of moron. Honestly, he deserves his own video. But with the characters aside now, I want to talk about the actual story. The first part of the series is Metal Fusion. It starts off kind of episodic with the characters mostly just doing side quests. It also introduces us to most of the main characters. The first half also sets up the main antagonist group, which is named Dark Nebula. It's ran by this guy named Doji. They become a lot more important in the second half, which is mostly a tournament arc called the Battle Blader, where Jinka and his team fights against Dark Nebula. You get a bunch of cool fights, with the most important one being Jinka versus Ryuga at the end. El Drago pretty much enters Ryuga's body, and he basically gains this sort of dragon form, but before he can get any stronger, Jinka defeats him, and Dark Nebula is defeated, and that's pretty much the end of Metal Fusion. Next up is Metal Masters, and this is probably the most memorable part for me. It's pretty much a big world tournament between different teams. We get a bunch of great fights like Kiyoya versus Jinka, Basa versus Team Excalibur, Ryuga versus Jack, the Damien fights that I mentioned earlier, along with a bunch of others. Now, Metal Masters doesn't just focus on this tournament, because at the end, the main characters had to defeat this organization named Hades. And they basically took one of Masamune's friends, and are trying to turn him into, quote-unquote, the perfect blader. Pretty much, to make a long story short, our main characters defeat this organization Hades, and we get Masamune's friend back to normal, and everything ends happily ever after. That is until Metal Fury. Now, Metal Fury doesn't really involve any tournaments or nothing. It basically gives us a bunch of lore about the Beyblade in this world. But basically, in Metal Fury, the god of destruction, Nemesis, is about to be reborn, and 10 legendary bladers must be chosen to defeat him. Now, all 10 bladers have what's called a star fragment inside of each of the Beyblades. The 3 of these guys are Jinka, Kiyoya, and Ryuga. These 3 are included in what's called the Bladers of the 4 Seasons. Jinka representing fall, Kiyoya representing spring, Ryuga representing summer, and Chris, who's a new character, represents winter. The rest of the legendary bladers are the solar system bladers. all of which are completely new characters. You have Yuki, whose planet is Mercury, TV has Venus, King has Mars, Dynamis has Jupiter, and Aguma has Saturn. Now the last legendary blader is Rago, who is the main antagonist of Metal Fury, and is the son of Nemesis. Now this guy is pretty much the strongest character in the series. His Beyblade is the insane Diablo Nemesis, and he pretty much solos everyone, even the GOAT Raiuka guys in battle. R.I.P. to the realest character in the show. But his death isn't in vain, because his power goes to Kenta, which I forgot to mention, the two kind of had a student and teacher relationship throughout Metal Fury. This power-up that Kenta receives is sort of like a payoff. Anyways though, Rago and Nemesis pretty much merge together, and with there being pretty much no way to defeat this guy, it ends in sort of like a Buu Saga type of way where every blader in the world sends their power to Jinka, and Jinka defeats Nemesis and Rago, finally giving us the end of the series. In all honesty, looking back at the Beyblade Metal Saga, it was pretty fun. Again, the series was really big for me and a lot of other people during our childhood. Making this video had me really nostalgic, and rewatching some parts of the anime was a real trip through memory lane. Maybe now to many people it may just seem like another kids show, but back in the day, the Metal Saga was truly deep. Anyways though, with all that being said, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Currently at the time of this video, we're at over 300 subscribers, so it would be an
Just one taste and you'll understand. Baskin Robbins sees the yay.
Oh, I remember that.
Inside every dog.
Alright, the year is 2017. 6ix9ine and Lil Pump were the hottest things in rap. Fortnite just hit the scene. You had every YouTuber dropping diss tracks on each other, and the whole vaporwave aesthetic was taking over the internet. And believe it or not, this was already 7 whole years ago. But aside from all this was a pretty interesting year for anime. My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan were airing their second season. Naruto aired its final episode, and One Piece started its whole Cake Island arc. But on top of all this, Dragon Ball Super was airing its and biggest arc, and that being the Tournament of Power. Now, if you were like me and watching Dragon Ball Super while it was still airing, you probably remember all the leaks and announcements that this arc was getting. The series hadn't had a proper tournament arc since the OG Dragon Ball. You also had characters like Android 17 coming back into the story and being a major part of it. And of course, this came right after the Goku Black arc, which at this point was Dragon Ball Super's biggest and best arc. So with it being followed up with a tournament arc about every universe fighting against one another, this obviously had a whole lot of fans hype. And when the arc actually started and each episode of it would air, the community would come up with theories and predictions as to how the arc would go down. Specifically when it came down to who in Universe 7 would get eliminated, and which of the other universes would get the furthest. Now my thoughts on Dragon Ball Super as a series overall are that it's alright. It has some high moments, but it also has some really low lows. That's also how I feel about the Tournament of Power as a whole. There are some really great moments from this arc. There are also some poorly written and very questionable choices that the creators made. But putting the quality of this arc aside, why?
This nigga, like before 3 days ago, the last
So I was dating this guy, Chris, for years. I wanted to buy a house. Chris didn't. Then
Alright, so before we get into the video, I want to give a quick disclaimer. While I was recording this video, your boy got sick, so if my voice sounds different at any point in the video, that's probably why. But I did try to re-record certain parts.
this. Also, I just want to very quickly say thanks for all the support this channel's been getting. We're already at over 4,000 subscribers right now, which is like over 1,000 more than the amount I had last video. So I just wanted to say thanks. Anyways though, with all that out the way, let's hop into the video. So recently I looked back at one of my personal favorite anime, and if you couldn't tell by the title, I'm talking about Black Lagoon. And yeah, this show, it's a classic. Now, when it comes to defining a classic, people have different opinions on it. For me personally, I see a classic as a series that's not only just iconic and impactful, but also one that I can go back and rewatch it, and it still holds up to this day. And Black Lagoon definitely falls under that category for me. This show came out back in 2006, and it was pretty different compared to a lot of the other anime that were out around this time. A lot of it was like action-heavy shonen. This was when the big three were just dominating. There were also a lot of good romance anime to come out around this point. Then out of nowhere, you had a series about pirate mercenaries, an evil Terminator maid, and nuns who will sling that iron in the name of the Lord. Never thought I'd have to say that sentence. But as time has gone past, the series has really been climbing up my personal favorites list. The story pretty much follows the main character Rock, who's on a business trip, but the ship that he's on gets hijacked by these pirates called the Lagoon Company. These guys kidnap him pretty much, but instead of running away, he pretty much becomes a part of their crew. Not that he really had any other choice, since the company he's working for made hardly any effort to try and save him. Now, the Lagoon Company pretty much do crime for hire, and the main city that the series takes place in, Roanapur, is pretty much the anime equivalent of a GTA server. So pretty much there's always something for these guys to do. And this immediately had me invested into the show. But what hooked me into the show even more was the cast of characters. Aside from Rock, you have three main members of the Lagoon Company. You have Dutch, who's the leader of the group, and he does a lot of the negotiations for the company. Then you have Benny, who's the mechanic and computer specialist for the group. In a nutshell, he's the company's nerd. Now, both Dutch and Benny, they're pretty chill guys. But this can definitely not be said about the next person. The third member, and undoubtedly the most popular character from the show, is Remy. If you're an anime fan and haven't watched Black Lagoon yet, you've probably seen Remy before. That's just because of how popular she is. And it's for good reason too, not only because she's hot as hell, but because she's a certified badass, alright? She's on literal demon timing throughout the entire series. Make one wrong move around her and you're cooked. It's game over. Shawty was out here clearing ships on her own within the first few episodes of the show, just on some different shit. But this S-tier badassery has made her one of my personal favorite characters, and she's really just the most entertaining character to watch on screen. But the characters don't just end there. Outside of the main crew, you have a bunch of other cast members that are just as great. You got Balalaika, who's pretty much the leader of the Russian mafia of Roanapur. You got Etta, who's a gunslinging nun. And then you have Roberta, who's pretty much a killer maid. She's one of the main antagonists in the series, and has not one but two arcs focusing on her. But I'll get to those later. Anyways though, now that I've gone over the characters, it's time to go over the story. The Black Lagoon anime is only 2 seasons long with an OVA series. All of this counted up to 29 episodes. And even though this isn't that many episodes, it still manages to have a whole bunch of different arcs. The pacing of the series is pretty fast. A lot of this though is because of the action. Let me tell y'all something. The action in the series is heat. She's so cool, bro. Anyways, though, when I had started the series, I thought it was going to be basic gunfights. Not that I'd really have a problem with that, but the show had completely proven me wrong. This show has a huge variety when it comes down to the weapons that the characters use, because not only do they use guns, you've got characters that use swords, knives, RPGs, chainsaws, goddamn flamethrowers. This isn't even all of them. In all honesty, though, I think that this variety really keeps things in the show interesting, and it really prevents a lot of the action scenes from getting stale. This, along with all the savagery that goes into these fights, makes it all the more entertaining. One really important thing to mention about Black Lagoon is that this show is funny as hell, and I'm specifically talking about the dub, which if you haven't seen Black Lagoon yet, I highly encourage you to watch the dub. Even if you're one of those people who refuse to watch dubbed anime, the dub is like the only right way to watch this show. The voice acting is actually really good. You can just tell the voice actors were having fun recording this. This is one of the only anime series that actually make me laugh consistently. Like, bruh, the dialogue between the characters is just so good. Now, I will say this is a pretty old dub, and there are some things that may not fly by today's standards.
Partner has the fucking documents. Do you follow? Understand you? Yes? You got that, Chinglish?
Dog, like, one of my favorite scenes from the show is from season 2. This was like around the middle of the season. This girl named Jane shows up to the church that Remy and Etta are at, and she's like trying to get away from these mafia people there. So they let her in, but the guys actually show up at the church. Remy and Etta ain't trying to hear none of that. So they immediately get to shooting, right? They're going crazy. This is like them against like 4 or 5 other guys. And they're genuinely scared of these two. Then out of nowhere, another member of the church pops up, and bro whips out a machine gun and joins the shootout. But even that's not it. The head nun of the church shows up, and I didn't really think her old ass was about that action. But once she pulled out that golden eagle, I knew it was over from that point. She literally shot that shit once, and it blew up a whole car.
Oh shit!
So I be scared to go to another church. But after this, the guys leave, understandably so, and everything's back to normal. And when I had first seen this scene, bro, I was laughing my ass off. This literally went on for like almost 2 minutes. And to this day, this is still one of the most memorable scenes from the show for me. Anyways, though, putting all the comedic stuff to the side, the story and the arcs of the show are actually really well written. And I couldn't really go over each individual arc from the show, but I'm just gonna go over my 2 favorites, being the Tokyo arc and the Roberta's Blood Trail arc. Starting off with the first one, it's about Rock and Remy going to Japan and getting themselves involved with the conflict between 2 Yakuza clans. In this arc, we meet Yukio, who's the daughter of one of the Yakuza bosses. Now, while she is a daughter of a Yakuza boss, she lives a pretty normal life, but with the death of her father, she met with the choice to either continue living a normal life or become his heir and be the next Yakuza boss. She chooses the first option and it'll put the Yakuza clan in danger, but if she chooses the second option, she'll fall deeper into darkness. And the direction that the anime takes her character in is really interesting. I'll try not to spoil it for those who haven't seen the series yet. Aside from Yukio though, this arc has a lot of other things going for it. We're introduced to Genji, who's honestly a really badass character. I mean, bro is literally a modern samurai. You get a lot of good moments between Rock and Remy, and it really makes me appreciate their dynamic even more. And of course, the action in this arc is some of the best we've seen in the series. And overall, this arc was a big highlight of the show for me. Now up next we have the Roberta's Blood Trail arc, which is the second Roberta arc in the series. Now the first Roberta arc itself was pretty good, probably my favorite one from the first season, and I thought Roberta was really cool. The Blood Trail arc pretty much takes everything that I really liked about the first one and makes it even better. One word to describe this arc, guys, is intense. Black Lagoon is a pretty intense show already, but for this arc it's probably at its best, and it makes for some really great suspenseful scenes. But what really drives this arc home for me is Roberta's character. I already mentioned that I really liked her from her first arc, but this arc does so much more her character, because she went from being a cool badass character with some pretty good writing to a really well-written and in-depth antagonist. And the conclusion for her character is really emotional but also pretty dark. And that's one thing about this series. Behind all the action and comedic scenes, the show is pretty dark, and it goes into some pretty heavy themes. The show doesn't try to hide this, and it's pretty well established within the first few episodes. And you can definitely see how well represented these themes are when you take a deeper dive into the characters. Take the main character, Rock, for example. I already mentioned it when I was talking about the plot, but he starts off as a casual businessman who just unintentionally got involved with some pirates. But once he joins the crew and gets deeper and deeper into the life of crime that they pursue, it really takes a toll and starts to change him. And with each passing arc, he falls deeper and deeper into the darkness. At first, the show is pretty subtle about it, but by the time we get to the end of the Tokyo arc, the viewer is fully aware of it. And from here, he continues to fall deeper and deeper. In all honesty, I think Rock is a really underrated character. Not just in Black Lagoon, but in anime in general. He has some really good writing that I think a lot of people just overlook. Anyways, though, this is one of the main things within Black Lagoon. Most of the characters aren't just born or willingly choose to become evil, but rather certain circumstances or events that take place in their life that leads them to that path. We find this out about a lot of the characters through their backstories. Even someone as cold-hearted and badass as Remy is an example of this. Throughout Remy's childhood, she didn't really have much. She lived in a bad area, and we don't know who or where her parents are. On top of this, she was getting abused in ways that I'm not going to get into, but this really caused her to have a bleak perception of the world, even into her adulthood. The anime only shows her backstory for about 40 seconds, but it was really effective and did so much for her character. One of the more darker cases of this theme being portrayed is with the vampire twins. This, in my opinion, is one of the more underrated arcs from the series. It focuses on 2 twins who go by Hansel and Gretel. The 2 are from Romania, and at the time there was a ban on abortion to increase birth rates. Once the dictator of Romania died, a lot of children became orphans, including the twins. This caused them to be taken in by the Italian mafia, and the 2 went through some pretty terrible stuff. They were constantly abused, people would use them for their own twisted desires, and they were even forced to kill other children. And all of this caused them to become cold-hearted serial killers, who thought that the more people they killed, the longer they get to live. Now in the anime, the 2 are tasked with killing Balalaika. Even though the 2 are children, they go on quite the killing spree with Rainiver. Balalaika and the Russian mafia pretty much handled them like they would with any other opponent. Since the twins were so far gone, the only real way to save them was to kill them. Looking back at everything I mentioned about Black Lagoon, this show is really something special. It just overall executes everything well, whether that be the action, the characters, or the themes. And I could continue to bring things up about the show, but y'all pretty much get the point. Black Lagoon is sort of similar to Monster and Nana, which are also 2 other anime animated by Madhouse, where it just feels so real that it doesn't even feel like you're watching an anime. And these are the reasons why I think Black Lagoon is truly a classic. With all that being said, though, I'm gonna end the video here. Had a lot of fun making this video, even though I was like sick for most of it. But if you've made it this far, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch y'all in the next video.
This figure's playing me like 5 videos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This thing really uploads.
That character is the iconic, the one and only Dragon Emperor himself, Ryuga. Man, I don't think y'all understand. I've been waiting this whole video just to talk about this man. If there were a list of reasons to go back and watch the show again, Ryuga would be number 1. Because there were just so many times where this dude was carrying the show on his back. And this may sound like I'm blazing, but if you've seen the show, you completely understand what I mean. Now, he makes it... Ecchi anime. Undoubtedly one of the most controversial genres of anime, which I'm gonna be honest, kind of makes sense. I mean, the whole point of this genre is fan service. But it's also because a lot of the anime in this genre are hit or miss. See, with the good ecchi anime, you can probably find yourself in a guilty pleasure. But with the bad ecchi, you'll probably regret ever getting this anime in the first place. Now, there's a lot of ecchi anime out there. Me personally, I've seen a fair share of them, some of which I've really enjoyed, like Monogatari, Food Wars, Mushoku Tensei. But in this video, I will not be talking about any of this, as you read by the title. Today I'll be talking about the one and only High School DxD. I don't think this anime really needs any introduction. It's like one of the most popular ecchi anime out there, and I'm certain that most of, if not all of y'all watching, have at least heard of it before. Now, for me personally, I didn't really start getting into the show until around the pandemic. Before that, I had only seen an upload of the first episode on YouTube, which was actually a reliable source to watch anime on at the time, if you know you know. But currently, at the time of this recording, I've seen the first 3 seasons of the show, and only a bit of the 4th, which I'm not gonna lie, dropped. But in this video, I kind of want to go over the first 3 seasons individually and determine whether this show is worth watching or not. I also want to say there may be slight spoilers for people that haven't seen the show yet, just warning you now. But with all that out the way, let's get into season 1. Season 1 honestly surprised me. My expectations really were not that high, especially from my previous experience of watching the first episode. But by the end of the first season, I thought it was okay. This season basically just shows us a bunch of things that will probably be important later on. It also introduces us to the main cast of characters. In this season, we're introduced to Issei, the main character, his 2 friends, whose names I honestly cannot remember for the life of me. I don't even feel like looking their names up, so I'm gonna just call them Issei's friends for the rest of the video. Rias, who's the main girl of the harem, and probably the most interesting character of this season. We got Akeno, who was best girl, don't find me on that. Next we have Kaneko, the lolly of the show, because every ecchi needs one. And lastly, we got Asia, the worst girl. Now, she wasn't that bad this season, so I won't go too hard on her, but best believe, later on in this video, when we get to season 2 and 3, I will be on that ass. Anyway, what other character I didn't mention?
That's
only other important male characters, aside from Issei, and a couple of the antagonists from this season. That's basically it when it comes to the characters in the season. Now, the story in the season was okay. To be completely honest, though, it doesn't really start getting interesting until like the last few episodes, which mostly sets up stuff for the next season. Overall, though, I actually enjoyed the season. My expectations were kind of low because of my previous experience with the first episode, but by the end of the first season, I was actually interested in seeing where the story would go. Overall, I give the first season a 6 out of 10. But hey, it's only up from here. Alright, so now we're on to season 2, and this is where things really started to pick up for me. Whereas season 1 gave us a feel of what the story was going to be and mostly introduced us to the main cast, season 2 expands on that and focuses heavily on the story, and it also sets up stuff for the 3rd season. One thing I forgot to mention last season was the series fights. The fights honestly aren't that bad. The magic system can get kind of confusing sometimes, but it's nothing too different from your basic light novel magic system. One funny thing I do want to mention that I noticed while watching was, I swear, every time a female character in the show fights, whenever they get hit, they always lose a piece of clothing. Like, they can get punched once and then boom, a titty pops out. But anyways, like I mentioned earlier, the season is more story focused. We're introduced to new characters like Irina and Zenobia, who's the second best girl, by the way, don't at me. But both her and Irina start off as antagonists, but both become good guys. And Zenobia even joins Issei's harem. We've got Azazel, who's basically Issei's mentor, and he helps train Issei and a bunch of the other main characters. We have Gasper, who's a vampire and is also a member of the occult club, which I have to mention is the reason why all these characters know each other. We're also introduced to Valley, who's one of the main antagonists this season, and he also becomes a recurring character. That's basically it when it comes to the characters. Now, like I said, season 2 is more story focused, and we get to learn about the war between the underworld and heaven, and we learn about the 3 factions, which are the devils, the angels, and the fallen angels. The third of which is the faction that Azazel is the leader of. And most of the stuff that involves before this season mostly is build up for the next season. And I wouldn't leave it off here if it wasn't for one thing. Asia. Now, I told y'all I was gonna be on her ass, and now her time has come. Now, last season, I let her off the hook, you know. Last season, she wasn't that bad. She was pretty tolerable throughout it. But this season, it's a different story. And some of y'all who probably ain't seen the show that have got this far probably wondered, oh, why do you like her? Oh, she seems like a pretty fine character. Listen, okay, I'm gonna use one scene to fully, show y'all why I do not like her. So, literally, the first scene of the season. So we're in Issei's room, and Issei's just waking up, and we see Rias right next to him. Absolutely no clothes. I'm not gonna lie, I probably should have picked a different scene for this case. I'm gonna have to do a lot of censor for this one. Anyways, though, Rias is all up on Issei, hugging him and stuff. Rias is ready to give him a one-way ticket to Pound Town. Then out of nowhere, Asia starts knocking on their door, and they're like, hold on, give us some time to get ready and whatnot. But she just barges in anyway. Like, oh my god. What sucks even more is that she does this for the remainder of the series. Her purpose is literally to just